not experience hair loss. You have no idea. Not today. What the fuck is this? I know I'm completely off track, but dude, come on. Why are they opening it like that? Yeah, I'm good. Let's just get to the lawsuit before I get too far off track. So, we about 45 minutes in. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I did see it all over the other day, and it got to a point where even somebody that I knew personally was talking about, yo, I ain't heard you talk about this yet, XYZ, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what you talking about? He like, oh, shit, the Drake little situation then went further and deeper. I'm like, what you mean by that? I heard that Kendrick's kids is in a lawsuit. I'm like, how? I'm like, oh, shit, I got to read it, I guess. You didn't truly beat Sifu, though. Nigga, I literally did. I have the... Niggas trying to rage bait me, Sean. What is it called? Boom. Proof. Evidence. Master. Beat my shit. All the way up into the end. Shut the fuck up, dude. So I did do a little pre-reading. I always try to do a little those vids AI. Get off dick, bro. I did do a little pre-reading. And the general conclusion, the problem areas that I think I wanted to get to were around line. I forgot what they ordered, like what documents they want to get, what documents they want to obtain. What I do want to say, from a practical point of view, I don't have a problem with Drake suing. I actually recommended that Drake sue. The second issue is, like, obviously he a rapper, so you can't do that. So before you try to cut my neck, I'm not saying that it's okay that he can sue as a rapper. But if you have any discrepancies, I'm recommending everybody handle it the legal route, okay? That's all I'm saying. Nigga said I'm compromised because I'm saying that it's okay to sue. Use your lawyers. Like, do what it is that you do, okay? At the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, then do it. And you shouldn't be shamed for it. At the end of the day, we all know that the reasons why these suits are being filed aren't for anything beyond personal reasons and beyond, just public humiliation. But I'm not trying to act unreasonable to that public humiliation. Like, if I had the option and I could make this all go away, I would.
Why did he bring up his kids?
I'm about to try to see. You would think that there wouldn't be a realm of possibility where you would want to bring up anybody's children, or from what I remember off the cliff notes, prior domestic abuse from another party that you're not technically suing. You wouldn't think that would be relevant to a case where you're trying to basically paint the picture that the label that you're under is trying to devalue you so that they can renegotiate your signing price at a lesser amount. You wouldn't think that this would be relevant to that, specificity at all. You wouldn't think that this would be even something to acknowledge. You would probably be better suited asking for any documentation relating to bots or the traction of Not Like Us, or, ask, UMG for, like the way that people engage with it. Get some analytics, get some data. I guess that's all that you would request. I don't see how any of the other stuff would be relevant, but I'm trying to see if I can get Drake's rationale or his team's rationale throughout all of this. Drake is not in a position to be obsessed with someone's kid. And see, this is like I said, this is part of the problem. This is why I think that there is room for some type of discrepancy. The only issue is, like, every time I try to give Drake a dub or any type of, like, wiggle room or leeway, I'm always having to acknowledge that, like, this is the world that you created. Like, I could say that Drake didn't ask to be called a pedo or be, like, referenced in, like, a I am preying on young girls type of way, but then I have to acknowledge that you made a track basically saying, hey, I already know there's a narrative about me that I like young women, that I like young girls. You got to talk about that in your track to try to beat Kendrick Lamar to it. So it's a point of view that you brought out before we ever got Kendrick Lamar given that angle, unfortunately. Then when I tie that into UMG having this, like, conspiracy to bring you down and devalue you so they can offer you another negotiating price at a lower amount, that doesn't make sense to me either, because that would basically be contingent upon you participating in a beef where you have full autonomy to not respond to Kendrick Lamar. I don't understand that. They didn't. It's like you're doing this with the frame of mind that they knew that you would participate, even though the participation is completely dependent upon what you decide to do. So it'd be different if they like forced you, like if there were really this unwritten rule in rap where every rapper had to, you know what I'm saying, against their own free will participate in every single rap skirmish or beef, but you don't have to do that. You literally don't have to do that, and you chose to step into that ring, and this is the result of it, unfortunately. Not only did you choose to step into that ring, you asked him to come at you from certain angles. And I'm also, like I said, I'll say it again, I'm never one of those people that sits here and says, you know, Drake said, talk about me in this way, and then Kendrick came at you in another way, and you're like, oh my God, how? He didn't mean for him to come at him in that way, but at the end of the day, like, you brought it up first, unfortunately. So these are the documents that are being requested. From what I skimmed through in the beginning, it didn't seem too abnormal or out of the way. Most of it, from my understanding, seemed to be within reason or within context to, you know, bots, within context to industries and places that you would think have some level of data when it comes to, you know, not like us or any other records that came out during the whole beef. But then we get to a point in this, you know what I'm saying, in this paperwork, which is funny to think about. Like, we talking about paperwork over a rap beef. But then we get into this paperwork where, you know, Drake is basically asking for documentation regarding Kendrick Lamar's contract. We get more information. And I believe it's around these lines where we start to see documents that I feel like don't have any relevance to this situation at all. I'm trying to see if I can find
Historically,
it.
every time people try to sue over songs for defamation, they almost always lose, because songs are not statements of facts but entertainment, even in other genres like R&B and rock.
You see, the unfortunate part about that too, though, is like, what are you gonna get? Yes, I am gonna listen to the Chance album tonight. I didn't know it was coming out before I started streaming, but we will end up getting to it. So yeah, there it is then. But the unfortunate part about this is that I don't think that there's a place for defamation, because like nobody knew what Kendrick was gonna say until he wrote what he wrote. And then at the same time, he's not suing Kendrick. And then at the same time, Kendrick never said that Drake, like, he never overtly said that Drake was a pedo. The only person that Kendrick did without a doubt say has a weird case was Baca, because he does. And if Kendrick says, Drake, I hear you like them young, that's not him making a declaration. That's him saying via word of mouth, I've heard that there's a rumor that you like him young. And that's something that you confirmed before he ever made that record. You, Drake, yourself said through Tupac's voice, you invoked his image to say, I like him young. What are we saying? How many different times is this going to be like repositioned? And I do understand for like the Drake fan base, they probably eating this up. But like, just like the Tory Lanez situation, when they kept saying that there's new information and there's new this, new that, there's not. Everything is the same as what we've been understanding, but now you're just like kind of pushing it into our face even more. Now that I'm reading it, it looks like it makes even less sense. I'm trying to see. These are the definitions. So they're describing certain things so that everybody within the case can be on the same page. By the way, this probably isn't going to get off the ground until sometime next year. You get what I'm saying? And he made a song with Future who also do what? Let me see. Okay, bad. They just going over word definitions so that they won't run into any issues. I'm trying to see where the remainder of this is. Okay, here's the remaining documents that are being requested. And like I said, up until a certain point, it looks like okay, or it doesn't look like too unreasonable based off what Drake is trying to prove or his team is trying to prove. But then we get, I believe, around, is it 30? Yes, this one right here is what really starts to like bug me. So they want information on the time period of January 1st, 2018 to May 31st, 2018. And this has something to do with the story of Adidon. There's like implication within this inclusion right here that there was instruction or some suggestion that the story of Adidon be censored or modified based on its content. That's how you could summarize, the request for document, 30. And if there is a request for that document, at least in my mind, there is some level of understanding that in 2018, Drake or his team or even UMG had talks where they discussed, all right, we don't need to keep going back and forth. We don't need to keep this going. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, then it completely makes sense that Drake has the expectation that for future rap feuds, UMG would do the same thing as it pertains to anybody else that he gets into a feud with. If they did this before, then they'll do it again. When it came to Pusha T and Drake, if he thought the UMG had a hand in stopping that from going forward, boom. When it came to Drake versus Kanye to an extent, Jay Prince got in the way. He stepped in. He got involved. He mitigated the situation temporarily and said, hey, let's stop the violence. Let's stop the beef because there's a lot of money to be made here. Nobody is going to get hurt in this. Let's just cut it out. Point I'm trying to make is whenever Drake has had a feud with anybody, someone on his behalf always seems to step in the way and stop any further potential damage that could come his way and harm the cash cow, which is a big problem. So when the Kendrick Lamar and Drake back and forth happens, I'm just thinking as a business, and I'm not paranoid and I'm not narcissistic, why would they get in the way of the biggest musical spectacle of all of the genre? Why would they want to prevent that? There's only money to be made if Kendrick and Drake go back and forth. I don't want Drake to seem crazy or for anybody to gaslight him into believing that UMG didn't make an ass fuck of money. They did. They did. The amount of money they made off these two going back and forth over the tracks that they made, from Euphoria, Kendrick's inclusion on Like That, Drake making Family Matters, Push-Ups, Drake coming out with the TaylorMade, even though that wasn't, I think, under UMG. He tried to just drop that like a Lucy, and then they made him take it down. You got, I think, Hard Part 6. Then there's Not Like Us. I don't know what 616 was dropped under. We got Family or Meet the Grams. Like everything, UMG made a ridiculous amount of money. Why do you think they would get in the way this time? Like, in my mind, clearly the damage of Drake or Kendrick Lamar was factored in before they said, let's not get in the way of this. They were fully willing to take a back seat with the knowledge that either Drake may take either Drake or Kendrick Lamar may have irreparable damage done to their reputation or their career over this back and forth. They fully went into this with the knowledge of those possibilities being a thing. But with Pusha T, why take the risk? This inclusion to me makes 100% sense if I'm reading it like this. There's no reason for Drake to be in an extended back and forth with Pusha T because there's nothing for Drake to gain and everything for him to lose. So if they did get in the way and they censored Pusha T back in 2018, makes sense. Not saying that it's good, but it makes sense. What are you doing? But Drake and Kendrick? Drake, you on your own. You on your own. You better go outside and fight. They at the door. This is like if your dad see that you, like, you know what I'm saying, some kid walk to your door or some shit like that, and he asks you to come outside, and your dad got the decision to say whether or not you go out, and he like, hey, I ain't gonna help you, go ahead, fight him.
It's going down in here. I'm with the money team.
That's the frame of mind I'm thinking about with Drake right now. Like, did you expect him to get in the way? And I get it based off the past. You having that expectation, I 100% believe that the story of Adidon, you know what I'm saying, had this censorship angle. But this doesn't prove your point, is all I'm trying to say. It doesn't mean that there's a conspiracy to bring Drake down because this time UMG didn't help you. That makes no sense to me. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Drake's sufficient to show Interscope's monthly revenue, so he wants to see more documentation here. Again, he gets back into his regular bag. This is making sense. He's asking for what I feel to be relevant information regarding the bots, regarding what he feels, you know what I'm saying, maybe some conspiracy to bring him down, which may be UMG being more on Kendrick's side to try to make him look bad. Whatever the case is, he's asking for information that is relevant to that. And then we get to a point where, once again, like I'm lost. We get document number 46, what he's requesting. All documents in communication with the NFR podcast. All documents in communication with Meta. All document, like he's asking for information from foundations or corporations or just YouTube channels, like podcasts, you know, stream shows. Like there isn't any organic, you know, drive to this type of content. Like UMG would have to be paying people or establishments to basically put information out at Drake's expense, to basically incentivize people to talk about things and specifically in a particular way so that Drake looks bad, as if there isn't tons of money to be made doing that just naturally or on your own. Why UMG would have to pay, you know what I'm saying, a YouTube channel to do that, to me just doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not saying that UMG or labels don't pay YouTube channels. I'm not saying they don't, but they don't need to. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like it's relevant. In this context, the biggest rap spectacle of all time, nobody needs to be paid to cover that. No one. They don't need extra promo. Now, do you do it? Yes, you're supposed to. But they don't need to. I feel like when you get to the level where you're like requesting, and this no diss to NFR podcast or any YouTube channel that's listed here, but when you get to the point where it's like asking a 150,000 or 200,000 subscribed YouTube channel, hey, talk about this, I just feel like that doesn't make sense analytically speaking. I just don't. Can't wait till they put Shawny in the legal files and ask for the evidence of his hate crimes against Mexicans. Well, that wouldn't be relevant to this case. That wouldn't be relevant to this case, unfortunately.
Drake severely underestimated Kendrick. He can't fathom how the song got so popular.
But it's a testament to Drake, too. Like, y'all are both the biggest superstars in rap history. There has never been a bigger rap artist than Kendrick Lamar or Drake. Ever. The two of them going back and forth, you expected what to happen? It to be talked about one day and forgotten about the next? What do you think is about to happen here, buddy? Hello? Anyway, but they're asking, you know, for the information to be provided from UMG that these situations didn't occur, essentially. You know what I'm saying? And then we get to what I feel is the most strange request out of everything. We get to the request number 50, where from January 1st, 2014, all documents and communication relating to allegations of domestic violence, violence against women, and or other forms of violence committed by Kendrick Lamar. There,
it's going down in here with the money team.
I don't, first of all, I don't know how you would, this blew me right here. This one right here blew me, because how are you even able to get this? First of all, why would UMG have information about this at all? Two, didn't Drake say he's the one that had the information? Didn't you make a song saying that you had, like, basically evidence of this? Why would you need a label like UMG to provide documentation or evidence?
Drake is the most documented music thief in hip-hop history, and the most documented with ghostwriters.
I don't think that's relevant, but you could be right.
Many are better than Drake.
You could be right.
We also now know his hits were not organic.
You could be right to an extent. Even though I feel like Drake has still contributed a lot to music. I won't necessarily say to hip hop, but to music, I feel like he's contributed, you know, greatly throughout the years. Maybe not recently, but greatly. I just feel like it's odd to ask the label to provide evidence, like they would have any information about this in any capacity. I find it odd that you believe that they would just have this at the ready. And I feel like, okay, boom, if you really wanted to know if this were true or not, maybe try to sue Kendrick, but you're not able to, like, you can't sue on anyone's behalf. You are not the one that you think was, you know, the violence had been committed against. So, like, I feel like the peer into this is just like, all right, I'm trying to make the nigga look bad at this point, which kind of sullies your whole point about, oh, yeah, I'm doing this for the little guy, or, well, I mean, we know that's not true, but it also sullies this little point where it's like, oh, yeah, this is about me trying to find out if bots were used. Like, this is about him also trying to make him look bad. And to be fair, I'm not of the opinion that if this happened, you keep it a secret. But there are appropriate channels to try to get this information. Actually, there aren't. Like, from a legal perspective, there's not an appropriate angle to try to get this. I don't know where you would get this unless there were public record documentation, or you knowing that a particular thing happened, you having like physical proof of said thing happening. This is like a nothing burger, right? Unfortunately, this is a nothing burger. I don't want to try to demean it like it's nothing, because it's a real thing that actually happens, but like, can you actually provide proof of that, please? And then we have January 1st, 2019 to the present. All documents and communication relating to David Isaac Freely, whatever his name is, aka Dave Free, and his relationships with Kendrick Lamar and Kendrick Lamar's children. So now I'm just like, bro, come on, man. This is nasty. It is. It's just nasty. Now, I do remember, there are elements of this that like include Drake's personal life too, like documentation as well, but I just feel like these are
Drake's a BTCH and so are his owls.
I feel like this is such a strange request. Like, how would they know this? How would they have any info on this, bro? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And it's such a strange, like, maybe he's counting on people, you know what I'm saying, having such strong allegiance to the music that he's made and the moments that he's given them throughout the years, and he's basically counting on them not reading through the 76-page document where he like basically explicitly asks for personal information about Kendrick Lamar that a label wouldn't have access to. Maybe he's counting on people not reading through that and, you know, just going with this conspiracy narrative like everybody's out to get Drake, when it doesn't seem that that's the case. I haven't seen anything that really holds any weight here. A lot of rappers have incidents beating women and they get off relatively scot-free. I don't know why UMG would do some elaborate cover-up only for Kendrick. Well, the thought here is that it makes Kendrick like stay firmer as this quote-unquote rap messiah that some people quote him as. And if they can sully that image, you know what I'm saying, then it makes everything that he's basically pushed for somehow invalid. So if this were to be proven in any context, it would kind of like take the sting out of some of the words that Kendrick threw at Drake. More specifically, a lot of the lines that he had in a record like Meet the Grams, or was it Meet the Grams or was it Family Man? I think it was Meet the Grams. So it would definitely. It would mean something. There would be reason to prevent it, but it's just it wouldn't make sense in this regard because there's no reason for them to get involved. There's no monetary value in having one of the biggest musical come-ups off of the back of Kendrick and Drake beefing, on top of the years of subliminals that have probably been thrown back and forth at one another. The buildup of this disdain for one another happened in 2024. There is no need to protect one side or the other when all interest is just in the entertainment value of the battle. There's no additional value to be gained in protecting one party. It's just not. And I would argue there would be significantly less division if this like suit was never filed. There would be significantly less fandom going back and forth if this had never been addressed in this way, if it were let go. And I know niggas don't want niggas to let that go, but at the end of the day, you just gonna have to eat that one. As unfortunate as it may be, you just gonna have to get the fuck over it. But hey, if you got the information, you can prove the bots, you can prove, you know what I'm saying, all the additional shit, all these requests. If it's worth it at the end of the day, I guess, man. If you somehow are able to get that information, cool, I guess. It just doesn't, I just don't feel like it translates. I don't. This is more information pertaining to the other, excuse me, there's more information pertaining to the Not Like Us record, I believe.
I want to know, did Drake and Dot have an agreement before the battle?
No. I would love to dive into that conspiracy, but the only reason I can't is because only Drake is looking ridiculous right now. In the perfect world, nah. Because this would basically, like, this suit is basically contingent upon Drake being able to force UMG to show evidence that they provided a substantial boost in data or push for Not Like Us, prioritizing it over the other records within this back and forth, through artificial means, right? And I did say bots already, but through artificial means. That would make Kendrick look like obviously horrible. So I don't think that this would be an angle that they would want to come at this from if this was like a conversation that they had prior to. Second, though, I'm trying so hard to give this angle some like attention. I'm trying to give it some type of validity, but it's just got none. All documents reflecting the performance engagement or streaming metrics, individual song analytics. This would make sense. Documents sufficient to show by the hour the number of streams, plays, completion, skip rate, average duration of play. Man. From May 4th, 2024 to the present. So there is some belief based off the request for document number 71. There is some belief that even up until this very moment, that there's still some level of artificial engagement happening with a record like Not Like Us, or any records that, you know what I'm saying, have to do with their back and forth from 2024. Not just for that particular time period. They're asking for documentation to prove that there isn't anything currently happening today. Like, that's crazy to me. That a year later, you think that somebody would still be trying to enforce that narrative. I don't even know where Not Like Us is on like Hot 100 or anything like that. I have no clue. I didn't even know niggas were still listening to it. Documents sufficient to show by the hour, listeners, documents to show Kendrick or anyone working on his behalf to the relating of the meeting or recording. Therefore, so he's talking about lyrics here again. Which again, like, none of this is defaming Drake. It's just not. None of that is defamation against Drake. I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling. More documents. All documents and communications related to the use of Spotify by UMG employees to stream the recording on their personal Spotify accounts. All documents and communication relating to the use of Spotify by UMG employees to... Hold on. I'm sorry, what? Not limited to all documents and communications relating to hands involved in UMG's marketing team during... So, if you work for UMG, he's saying that you can't listen to the music that came out under UMG? Wait, oh... I'm about to crash out. Hold on. Is it bots or is it niggas listening to the music? Like, what is it? No. I get that you're saying UMG employees. The accusation here is that UMG employees are quote unquote boosting the success of the song by listening to it. How would you prove that? Like, it being in someone's playlist along with other music, them having it on repeat or shuffle or some shit. Like, what? How do you prove someone? How do you prove that you're not that someone isn't just listening to a song they like? I don't understand that. What are you talking about? If they happen to be a UMG employee and they happen to also like the song, that just blew me. What the fuck? Relating to the placement of the recording or music by Kendrick on the playlist of UMG workplaces, including but not limited to its Santa Monica, California location. This request includes but is not limited to all documentation and communication regarding the creation, construction, and maintenance of playlists. So wait, UMG is releasing the music. They're distributing the records. You expect to walk into a UMG facility or workplace or location, the Universal Music Group, you expect to not hear UMG music? Are you supposed to go into UMG and they playing shit that they didn't have a hand in orchestrating the creation of? What the fuck are they supposed to be playing at UMG outside of UMG music? Shows bias. What? Why would you walk into a label in the why would you walk into a facility that makes music and the facility that makes the music not be playing the music that they make? What the fuck else they supposed to what else is you supposed to hear? When Scorpion came out, was you not supposed to hear some of that in the office, maybe? Like at the Santa Monica location? Oh, okay. Whatever, bro. All communication and documents relating to any payments by Ramon, whoever this is, whether directly or indirectly to the NFR. Yo, NFR NFR podcast going through it. What the fuck? You know what's so crazy? I never, not to say that I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just struggling. I didn't see any content coming from NFR podcast when the Drake back and forth was happening. Hold on, let me see real quick. If I can log to see NFR podcast analytics on anything having to do with the Drake versus Kendrick back and forth. Because I don't remember, and it's no diss to him. NFR podcast. I don't remember them having like any crazy viewership off the coverage of Kendrick versus Drake for there to need to be this like. These seem like normal metrics for, and I don't. They are Twitter. Oh, their Twitter is down. That's, I mean, mate. I guess this isn't the only channel in which they can cover Drake shit, or Drake and Kendrick shit, I guess. But I don't feel like this is substantial enough at all to just like, for them to be such a, you know, consistent or reoccurring name pop up through the shit. Like I don't know. I don't get that one. I don't get that one. They kind of lost me on that one. Or Drake kind of lost me on that one. Very regular content. It seemed like normal shit that you would cover, especially for a rap-centric YouTube channel or platform. What the are they supposed to be silent when you? Hey, I don't know. To promote anti-Drake messages and to populate positive comments regarding Kendrick Lamar in their comment section on any social media. This request includes, but is not limited to, any investigation, reports, complaints, analysis, or similar into the same. I don't, yeah. I don't know. I don't know, bro. The comments? How are they supposed to control the comments? What do they say? Like, do they tell their audience, like, hey, y'all leave a positive comment for Kendrick in the you know what I'm saying, down below. We gotta run up not like us. Like, what do you expect? Like, what do you think that they're doing? Is my only question. Shit blowing me. Once again, chat, I'm currently being blown. I'm currently being blown. It's nuts. How much of this of a sore loser? I mean,
going down in here with the money team.
I hope. Look, at the end of the day, beforehand, hey, I appreciate you too, Vash, with a 13. But I'm I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to say this for niggas to get the point. I will reiterate. Drake was at one point my favorite rapper of all time. Well, not all time. Let me chill. But there was a point in my life where, like I said, I was waking up Drake, sleep Drake. I want to say like probably up until like 2016. Me and Drake music like this. And y'all saw examples or moments throughout, you know what I'm saying, throughout my YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's been a progressive disdain for the music over time, but like you can look at the early content. Like I like Drake music still relatively for the most part when I first started making YouTube videos, and when I felt like it was good, I always would hype it up. Cause there's like, after a certain point, it got to a stage where it's like, all right, I'm listening to Drake just for entertainment. Cause the music don't hit me the same way it used to when I was younger or when I was a kid. So now I'm just like consuming what I can for when it's good, when it's bad, and I'm gonna say it. But starting out as like a Drake fan, like '09 Drake too, by the way. Like I'm not one of those niggas that start listening to Drake in 2015 or in 2014 or, you know what I'm saying, I heard Just Hold On, we're going home, or I heard Worst Behavior. I'm like, oh shit, no, this guy's really the truth. Like it's not like that. Like nigga damn near dick riding. I'm not lying. Like damn near dick riding. To come from that to now, it's just like I don't want to see him. I really don't want to see him go out like this. I don't want to see him go out like this. I don't want to see him go out like this. I don't. This would still hurt me. He already out. I get it, but like there's a room. Nah, he got to keep going. And see, that's the thing too. Like, to quote, what's his name? Not quote, but like, what's old boy name? Fabio Foreign. To emulate Fabio Foreign real quick. Drake is Scorpio. I know he taking this shit crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Scorpio too. Our birthday's like a day apart. No troll shit. My shit's the 25th. Not even trolling. I'm in OVO. Like I'm in October.
If Iceman is good, do you forget?
Hold on. I'm gonna get to that. But I'm in October. So I fully identify with, like, you know what I'm saying? Once you in that room, you gotta stay there. He put himself in this situation. He already started a suit mad long ago. He gotta follow through. At this point, realizing that you wrong, or you getting to this stage and realizing that it could be a nothing burger, even if it is, you gotta keep going full throttle. You gotta drive off the fucking cliff. You got to. No turning back. You gotta go. So it's that dedication to hitting a brick wall, even if you see it coming, that I respect most out of this whole Drake back and forth. Even at the end of the day, I could disrespect and not like anything else that he do. I'ma still look at him and be like, damn, he stuck to his guns in the end. Even if this is how I gotta be out. Even if this is how he gotta go out, like, damn. He ain't switch himself, I guess. This is harder than Wayne. What you mean by this is harder than Wayne? Let's listen to the hard part 6 real quick. Let's not. Certain shit, you know, what's understood don't need to be said. What's understood don't need to be said. Type shit. But at the end of the day, it's like, damn. Now we in this room. I can't co-sign no pussy shit. Come on, let's be honest. We all co-sign some pussy shit every now and again. It's just what you can and can't tolerate. Some pussy shit not as bad as other pussy shit, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying? You all got your moments. It's just this that we collectively agreed. This can't be one of those pussy shits that you can co-sign, unfortunately. And don't get me wrong, me giving you this little background story of me and my Drake fandom isn't to get you to be on my side and saying that Drake should be forgiven for this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
I'm a November Scorpio.
Damn.
We are more logical. Hence why I realize Kendrick is superior. Sister Pooh's mom of twins B-Day's Halloween. She was Team Drake in battle.
What the fuck? That is not what that was supposed to be about. You just swallowed his meat. OMG. OMG. The way she forced that in there. What the fuck? Nah, that was a good one though. I like that one. But nah, you gotta clean the floor after that one. It spit everywhere.
At one point Drake was the greatest white rapper and the best black rapper, but Nas and Jay took that black rapper crown back, and Eminem, the Jesus of Detroit, took his white crown back.
Hold on. Wait, what? You said at one point Drake was the great... Hold on, nigga. What the fuck you mean by that? First of all, both those things are factually incorrect. Saying Jay and Nas had to take any crown back from niggas is completely ridiculous. I still to this day don't think that it's most niggas that have ever had like that heyday, that limelight moment that has ever been at their pinnacle and have ever been at their pinnacle and also been better than Jay-Z or Nas. Now, do I prefer niggas over Jay-Z and Nas? 100%. But I don't even think there's been a rapper.
Just hopping in. WTF are we talking about?
There hasn't been a rapper with the visibility of either one of those dudes that has been better than them at any point in their career. Ever. That shit hilarious to me. Second of all, at this point, their dicks are touching y'all uvulas. Damn. Damn, no cancers in the chat. My pop's a cancer. I don't know what you do with that information. What do you mean, hey, yo? I'm going to listen to that Steve Lacy song soon. But yeah, man, Drake, I love you, bro. Calling Drake, bro. Is it crazy at this stage? Oh, also, to get back to that question about somebody asking me about Iceman. Hawk, I appreciate you with the prime, too, by the way. No. The thing about Iceman being good or bad, it doesn't matter. That's what you got to understand. The damage has already been done. There's no returning at this point. Drake can have some crazy lines in the future. He definitely can. Drake is a slick word. You know what I'm saying? He's a good writer when he want to be. He's a slick writer every now and again. But even if he performs greatly on Iceman, it doesn't change what happened. I appreciate you, Felipe, big time. But it doesn't change what happened. I'll never look at him different. I'll always in the back of my mind remember, like, you did this. So no matter what you drop.
Calling Drake black or a rapper is absurd. Calling him the best black rapper is blasphemy. Preferring anyone over Nas is mental illness.
I mean, that ain't true. We can prefer other niggas, but it, like...
Do you think we'll ever see a bigger back and forth like Kendrick and Drake ever again?
No. Never. It'll never happen again. Many men, many men, wish dick upon me, Lord, I don't cry no more.